This is extremely good news for Chicago Bulls fans. While we sit and wait for the end result in the contract negotiations between Josh Giddey and the Chicago Bulls, we have some great news from the man himself that should make you feel confident in his play for next season. Hello, my name is Isaias Jackson Jr. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest. We got to get into all the news and notes, and Josh Giddey asking the NBA if he can play overseas in the offseason. However, 67.5% of you guys are not subscribed. 32.5% of you guys are, and we appreciate you guys on both sides of the field, if I can speak properly. And look, it is a late night, which is why I'm acting this way. It's 11:50 right now as I speak, and that's late for me. I know it's past my bedtime. And if you are getting ready for bed, or if you're getting ready to wake up and you're getting ready to start the new day, hit that subscribe button, like, and share. It is a good luck charm. You will have a bright day, or you might just sleep peacefully. And thank you guys so much for tuning into Bulls Digest as well. Bulls restricted free agent Josh Giddey says he's asked NBA to let him play in Australia in offseason, which I definitely would, depending on what side of the fence you're on, this could be a really, really great thing, or you could think this is a really, really stupid decision. But just jumping right into it, restricted free agent guard Josh Giddey said on the Ball Magnet podcast that he's asked the NBA to play semi-pro basketball at home in Australia in the offseason. He goes on, and I quote, "I've asked the NBA if I can come home and play in NBL 1 or other leagues during the offseason," Giddey said. "It keeps me in shape. There's no better way to stay sharp than actually playing basketball." And I do love that. Of course, that story followed Giddey's discussion about him rolling up into a Franklin and District Basketball Association on Monday, May 5th. Giddey suited up, of course, in Vales, but his team actually fell 110 to the Benny Boys, of course, 110 to 84 to the Benny Boys. And although it's unfortunate, I'm pretty sure he wasn't gut punched. I'm pretty sure he wasn't just immediately disappointed, in his loss, to the Benny Boys. It's not like he lost a championship game. No disrespect to the Benny Boys, but, it's not like Josh Giddey was hurting in any way, shape, or form. Of course, this was posted by 10 Sports on May 5th. Josh Giddey or fill in. The Boomers and Chicago Bulls star guard shocked some local hoopers when he pulls up to play in a local social match at Frankston, Melbourne on Monday night. And of course, he also mentions that just imagine you're coming home, you're just getting ready to hoop after a long day of work, and you see Josh Giddey going across from you. Nah, I'm sorry. I'm not guarding Josh Giddey. I'm going somewhere. Either I'm not guarding Josh Giddey or I'm getting up out of there. I'm unsuiting up. That's what we're doing here at this point in time. Leave your comments down below. You're getting ready to suit up. You're lacing up your LeBron soldiers, whatever you're hooping in. Look, I ain't gonna judge you, but you're getting ready to hoop, and you look across from you and you see an NBA player. You see Josh Giddey. You still hooping? Or do you have that much faith in your game? Leave your comments down below. Just want to share that with you guys. But outside of that, going back into Josh Giddey comments, like I said, it's late. I'm going to be off track a little bit. It's clear Josh Giddey just loves to hoop, though, as evidenced by his retelling of the game. It and the feeling came right back to me once I got out there. Obviously, I wasn't playing too hard, but just that enjoyment of getting to play with friends in a rec or domestic game, that joy came right back from when I used to do it as a kid. I love that kind of basketball. Anytime I could play, I just try to. It's just fun, even if it's not serious. Obviously, playing in the NBA now, coming home and jumping into a Monday night comp in Frankston isn't exactly on the top of my priority list, but it brought back the childhood excitement. Rocking up 5 minutes before tip-off, throwing on your shoes, and just hooping. And I think that's the best part about that. And also, to just go back to the first sentence, it's clear that Giddey just loves to hoop, though, and it's evidenced by his retelling of the game. I think it's evident when, and even him talking about going to Australia and just staying sharp. I think that's evident in the Olympic loss, that Australia took a year or two ago, when Giddey is sitting there emotional, tears running down his eyes, running down his face, and he's just saying, it sucks that I have to wait 4 years to do this all over again. And there's certain athlete quotes that just tug at your heartstrings. That right there, after an elimination, knowing, what's at stake, you see Australia, your country on your chest, and you take a loss. And the words, coming from Josh Giddey himself, it sucks that we have to wait 4 years to do this again. That just hurts, man. That's tough. It sucks, and I think that says it all right there. And the fact that he wants to go to Australia and still stay sharp, because it's one thing where, as he says, you're just going in directly, you're just going to the gym and you're hooping with friends, you're hooping with buddies. It's another thing, when you're going out and you're playing and the intensity is racked up a little bit more. When you're not with your friends, and you're in leagues, and you're also getting coached a whole lot differently. We talk about how overseas ball is just a little differently, than the NBA. It's not a lot of ISO ball, a little bit more fundamentals. And guys, even though there's a lot of selfish guys in the NBA, of course, there's some selfish guys in overseas as well, of course, trying to make their way onto the NBA too. So, of course, you will see some sloppy play as well. However, you're seeing Josh Giddey coming to the fray. You're seeing Josh Giddey come out on the forefront, and you do want to see the turnovers minimalized. Of course, you do want to see a little bit better efficiency, of course, from three-point range too. Not saying that it's just completely atrocious, but just a little bit better efficiency, of course, from three-point range. And you just want to see the playmaking just be a whole lot better as well. Just the decision-making, the IQ get raised up a notch from Josh Giddey. And, of course, that comes with experience too. Of course, Giddey said that his agent, Daniel Moldovan, was, I'm sorry if I butchered that, was furious with him and was not happy for playing in the game, although he made clear the two are very close and talk every day. Of course, NBL 1 is the top semi-pro league in Australia, and it's run by the NBL, which is the top pro league in Australia and New Zealand. So the guess is Giddey probably won't be allowed to play in the league for fear of injury, though one can't help but admire his love of the game. And that is pretty much the biggest takeaway of this whole thing. Because do we really believe Josh Giddey is going to get the okay, is going to get the pass to go over to Australia and hoop in the NBL 1? No. Don't think it's likely. However, you do got to love the hype for Josh Giddey in the terms of him wanting to go out there and still take that initiative to ask. And on top of that, still being in Australia, still going to the gyms, still putting in the work, because you still have Kobe here. You still have Patrick Williams. You still have Montes Buzelis still doing workouts in Florida, I believe it was. Putting in the work. Ayo as well coming through and putting in the work. You're seeing team chemistry being built. And of course, Josh Giddey is a part of that as well. But even coming all the way from going back to May 5th, he's still coming through. And even though at the dismay of his agent, he's still playing in games, he's still putting in work, and he's still getting the experience and still getting the motivation to improve as his career goes on. And you gotta love that. So in the meantime, Giddey needs to find a home for next season and beyond. Of course, the leader in the clubhouse in his 2024-2025 team, the Chicago Bulls, who acquired him via trade last year from the Oklahoma City Thunder for Alex Caruso. Shout out to OKC. Turns out it worked out really well for him. There's a great optimism the Bulls will get a deal done and re-sign him, per Casey Johnson of the Chicago Sports Network. And, of course, this is coming from Casey Johnson himself. I think both sides are still confident a deal will be done here. This is coming from Casey Hoops on Josh Giddey and the start of free agency today. Of course, that was on June 30th. So Giddey just finished a fantastic end of the 2024-2025 season with the Chicago Bulls, averaging 21 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists following the All-Star break, per StatMuse. He has 5 triple-doubles, and I only expect that to build to only be a whole lot more next season, especially if he's going to put in the work. But are you happy that Josh Giddey is taking the initiative to ask the NBA to go overseas? Do you think it's worth it for Josh Giddey to go out there and improve on his game, or are you willing to just go out there and take the high road, say, you know what, Josh Giddey, we love that you're going into the gyms, we love that you're getting the workouts that you need, however, playing overseas is a bit of a stretch. We want to see you sit down just a little bit, just for the sake of injury, and just because we want you to take it easy just a little bit. Of course, because he did get injured at the tail end of last season. Of course, it wasn't a serious injury, but it is something that we have to look at. It is something that we have to go through and look at as well. Guys suffering injuries in the offseason, I think, is one of the biggest gut punches than when we see them get injured in the regular season. Now, of course, in every injury, it's still be taken with severity, but that's just my thought process. And Josh Giddey, of course, going out there, working hard, playing hard, love to see it, and it's only going to make him better for next season. So can't wait to see how that turns out for him. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.